620.
Welcome to NewYorkJew.com. Recently, the University Transportation Research Center at Baruch College held a mayoral candidate forum focused on transportation policy. A committee of experts posed substantive transportation questions to separate panels of Democratic and Republican candidates. The experts included a former CEO of the MTA, a former Department of Transportation commissioner, a former taxi and limousine commissioner, and the chairman of the Regional Plan Association. And that's just Lee Sander. The rest of the expert panel also had substantial experience and credentials. In this excerpt, John Liu responds to a question about the city's capital budget for transportation infrastructure and sewer and water needs. Currently set at a near record high of $10.2 billion, the Bloomberg administration projects a reduction in funding of almost a half by 2017, despite significant future infrastructure needs.
Chris, you know better than anybody else probably in this room that there are some vagaries when it comes to capital budgeting. And capital budgeting that unlike the expense budget, doesn't have to be balanced against anything. So it's easy for an outgoing administration to say, hey, yes, the city should spend this much this year, and then in future years, a lot less. Well, the reality is that they're probably not going to spend this much, and a lot of that's going to be pushed to future years anyway. And so those are what you see in the capital budget, especially at the end of an administration, is not necessarily truly reflective of the actual outflows of capital expenditures that the city will actually experience over the next few years. To answer your question, I don't think that all the capital funds that are being allocated for this fiscal year is actually going to be used. So there's going to be a great deal of equalization over future years as the new administration takes hold and starts to actually expend those funds.
So do you think that's adequate to average it over those years, or do you think $10.2 billion is really where it should be and should be continued out?
Well, we also have the constraint of the city's debt ceiling, and we're not going to be able to borrow $10 billion each year for the next 4 years. No administration is going to be able to do that because we'll blow the debt ceiling by a lot. So to say $10 billion in 1 year, I think is an overstatement, and that will naturally equalize because this administration, I don't think, has the capability of using that much. I had proposed a capital acceleration plan of just $2 billion. $2 billion out of a 10-year, $28 billion capital plan. And the administration found it very difficult, even though I knew the capacity was out there, to even accelerate $2 billion of the capital plan. So I think, let's see what happens over the remainder of this administration and into the new administration, and see where the capital funds actually flow.